My name is Rhapsody, his name is sneakyteak, and welcome back to the ladder streak for another week. How's it going, my friend?
It is going most excellently, as I have told Rhapsody off camera. I'm going to start saying off camera.
Mhm.
We talked about this before, but it's weird for me to say because we're never on camera for YouTube series. But I mean, off the record, right?
It tracks to me.
There are some various things going on in my life, which will have to be teasers for now because I will share soon, probably on live stream. But my life has been kind of like a blur the last week or so, and it's the holidays. But I'm feeling very good. Weirdly, like exhausted and rested at the same time within the same breath. Yeah.
It's strange. Is it kind of like a social exhaustion, but like a restedness for doing other things, or are they different buckets that are exhausted and filled?
I think that's what it is. I think that's exactly what it is. And I like to talk about buckets, right? And actually, there's a Day9 video that I think does a good job talking about our different buckets and thinking of downtime, like really empty downtime, as being a bucket that you need to fulfill. And you've got a creative bucket, emotional bucket, romantic bucket, whatever. They're different buckets with different sizes for different people, right? And I think that's exactly what it is. That sometimes when we take a vacation, we suddenly fill or even overfill some buckets that have been neglected, but then we've left some other buckets behind, right? And so our social bucket runneth over, and our downtime bucket and our rest bucket runneth over. But also we had to do some driving, or we haven't been fulfilling our creative needs as much because we haven't been streaming. And so it's all just bucket imbalance, right? And so somehow you can feel perfectly rested and zen, but tired at the same time.
It's kind of an adjacent point, but in the kind of like realm of Day9 talking about the value of downtime. I often tend to think about, there was a story I heard a while ago. Unfortunately, I won't remember the name of the particular artist that was talked about. But they were in a coffee shop. They were just drinking coffee, just staring out the window. And someone came up to them and asked what they were doing. And they said, writing. Because that is part of the process, right?
Yep.
The time that you take to digest and think of these kinds of things, and honestly, just the fuel that you intake that then becomes your creativity is part of the process for those kinds of things. Like, there is no such thing as a creative job that is 100% uptime. It just doesn't happen.
No. Creative work is like that, and it's the reason why work-life balance is in some ways at its hardest with a creative profession, and not so dissimilar to other jobs that I've worked. Actually, I don't want to sit here and claim that creative work is the only always-on job, but there are a lot of jobs that you can be stewing on, thinking about, considering in some way, shape, or form all the time.
Yep.
Maybe you're thinking about that code that you're about to write, or you're considering the interaction that you're going to have with your coworker the next day, and figuring out how to let yourself off the hook for a little while. And in some jobs, it's more active than others, right? Like with our job, you have to be like, what do I need to do physically in order to feel disconnected from my job, which is checks notes, playing video games.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I allowed to play video games when I'm not playing video games?
I don't know. I've been trying to answer that question this whole year. But it is so weird, like, because I've had like a relatively similar experience over the course of this holidays. Like, I had a whole amount of downtime, and yet I spent a whole lot of it just thinking about things that I wanted to do on the channel, or content that I wanted to create, or playing games that I play on the channel just by myself.
And I have this huge problem, which is that I'm sitting here talking about buckets, and they're mostly fairly general, creative, emotional. But what I was, unfortunately, I feel like there was a forbidden door, like the restricted section of the high library in Harry Potter or something. There was this area that didn't exist until I unlocked the door to it, and it was my forbidden final bucket, which is the Spelunky 2 bucket. And it is large. It is a very big bucket. Even when I'm streaming Spelunky 2, I don't feel I'm playing enough Spelunky 2. It's bordering on obsessive. Look, I like games a lot, and I play a lot of games for work. But there's something about that game which has really put its hooks into me in a tenacious way.
Still chasing the Cosmic Ocean victory?
Yes, although practice is making proficient. I took a bit of a breather, which I think I'll restart when I go back to streaming tomorrow. Well, with recording. When is this video live? When are we? Where are we?
It will be live in 4 days' time.
Okay. So several days ago, when I went live tomorrow, I'll probably play some Spelunky too. But I've been working on the eggplant crown.
Oh, I watched.
Yeah.
Okay, so I originally I didn't want to spoil myself on any of the Spelunky 2 kind of stuff. I had this constant fantasy that I was going to dive into it, but eventually it did start to look like a bottomless pool that if I dive into, I'm never going to make my way back out.
Oh, it's bottomless. Don't open the door. It's the biggest bucket. Yeah.
So I don't want to necessarily drown in that bucket. So I did watch some of the, I watched a speed run of specifically doing the eggplant run.
Oh, nice.
It is amazing to me the effort that Mossmouth put into this realization of effectively a meme from the first game.
100%. Oh, 100%. It was a game one meme. Yeah. It was a community, ultimately it became less of a meme and more of a myth, I think. And now it has its own full playthrough in Spelunky 2, which is great. I won't spoil any of it, even though we must be approaching the statute of limitations for this game, right?
Yeah, you'd think so.
I have trouble because everybody's expectations are different. And when it comes to rogues, my quote unquote spoiler tolerance is very, very high because for me it's the communal play and the kind of mechanical execution that I derive joy from. It's the stories and the finding new things and the innovation actually as the community finds new kind of edges to grind in the game. I
find myself actually like very similar in that I don't really care about spoilers in roguelikes broadly, roguelikes, etc.
Rogue things. Roguies.
So I don't necessarily care about spoilers in roguies, but I have to care professionally about it because my first reaction to the thing has to be on camera.
Yeah. I know. And you're like, oh, am I burning money by? Am I allowed to play this game when I'm not playing this game? It comes full circle.
In an ideal world, I would be able to, in parallel, play the game off camera so that I learn how to play the game and then play it on camera without any of the knowledge, but with the skill.
Okay, so when I played through Dark Souls 3, I learned, and I'll keep this brief because I know that we want to talk about the edge that we're grinding in Monster Train, but it seems to be one of those weeks. When I played through Dark Souls 3, what I learned is that a lot of people watch specifically Dark Souls because it's on the list of games for which the question is answered of if you could forget any experience that you've had in your life so that you could have it again fresh, what would you do? And for many people, the answer is Dark Souls because it is such a singular punishment the first time through, right? And so they watch casual playthroughs, and I was always surprised. The game's been out a long time. Why are you watching casual playthroughs? They watch casual players to see that first time experience and in a way vicariously relive it, right?
Yep.
But that's kind of us too. It's like we want to have the first experience, but then we also have to become an expert in the room. Yeah. It's very strange.
It is a weird line to walk, but still a fun one. Hey,
very agreed.
We've got this character in front of us again, the big old big boy.
Big old big boy. Yeah.
It's Penumbra time. I gotta say, like, I'm in quick here. I want a glutton run. And Tomb Assault certainly helps with that.
And there's some more morsels. There's some backline killing. We talked briefly about Umbra off screen as we dive into this game. What's in the Horde? I want to know what's in the Horde. I'm going back to my old ways.
Do we go Horde?
I usually go Horde first and then check the other. I'm swapping. Yeah.
Well, the game wants us to be a glutton too, apparently.
We've got Shade Split. I don't think this is ever Shadowbox over Mask of Penumbra. I don't like only the Sith work in absolutes. Shadowbox is very flashy. It's too cute. It'll be good by like Ring 4. Mask of Penumbra is good now.
The amount of investment I find I need in Shadowbox is like, I need to already have a morsel master duping the morsels I play, and then I need to have already like a couple different sources of getting regular morsels before I feel like this activates at any reasonable point for me. Because sometimes if you activate it too late, you're just not doing anything. Obviously, your floors by that point could probably deal with the enemies.
Yep. Well, and you know, it's interesting because we talked off camera about the fact that Umbra kind of struggles with waves. Well, there's your glutton, dude. Click it. I'm in. 100%.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
We've got all the right pieces already. And so Shadowbox looks like the answer, right? It's like, oh, having trouble with wave problems? I feel bad for you, son, but if you can make 20 morsels, I'll kill every one of them. Ooh. But you can't do that until like ring 4.
I love
and so you've already lost to the waves before that.
I love that you had the rhyme and then you add all of them to the end. I feel bad for you, son. You can... You play all the morsels and you kill every one of them.
It's an interior rhyme. It's internal rhyme. Or maybe it's a slant rhyme. I don't know what it's called, but we did it. If orange can rhyme with door hinge, that's right.
So I'm having a look at a couple of the forward floors. We have a hell vent on the second ring.
Did you pick up my aggressive water drinking? I'm sorry, I slammed my...
No, it's all good.
I was very, very happy with that outcome.
I mean, we've also got the Merchant of Magic on the floor prior. We've got 75 gold next to that Merchant of Magic. We might effectively just look for a spell to double upgrade and dupe here.
Oh, we have root seeds too? Now, wait, hold up. Okay, can we afford a minute to talk about this deck?
Love it.
There is not a limit to the amount of -1 magic, -1 ember cost that I want here, right? All of our starter cards, honestly, are happy to stay in the deck if we can make them cheaper and draw enough cards. And so, yeah, I would agree that, especially with Glutton, being able to carry our boss kills, theoretically, right? Like, that's a thing that Glutton is good at if we can feed it enough. We need to get good at waves, which we can do with minions, and otherwise to just improve the efficiency of the deck. Oh, yeah. And upgrading Antumbra Assault makes us good at waves.
I'm thinking of directions for the end as well. Like, obviously, with everything being low cost, if we happen to make a lot of zero costs out of these, suddenly things like Ember Drain become really appealing, but then Seraph the Chase makes me feel pretty sad about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Glutton was a good choice for Seraph the Chase, too. We didn't even really talk about that. For what it's worth, I saw comments about this recently, and I don't always think about the Seraph for every decision that I make. You know, it's... Sometimes you have to solve now problems, but I am thinking about the Seraph a lot of the time, and sometimes we don't comment on a choice about the Seraph, but it still was. And this is definitely one of those times, right? Like, Glutton is partly a consideration for how do we scale in a way that Seraph the Chased won't undo.
Yeah, when you play this game enough, there is like a little intuitive voice in the back of your head that's like, you can't pick that option because of this. And not necessarily does it always go stated.
But it's worth noting because 200 hours of play ago, I wasn't stating it because I wasn't thinking about it and I was losing. And then 100 hours of play ago, I was stating it because it was novel. And now we're on like tier 3.
We've looped
which
back
is
around.
We noticed. And then tier 4 is, because we haven't stated it, we forget. Tier 4 is the reversion stage, so be ready for tier 4.
Perfect, and then we just go in an infinite cycle from that point on.
That's right.
Alright, so looks like we are probably going to take the Thorns damage to these two, but that's about going to be the fight.
Yeah, I feel good about the choice to kill off the midliner.
Yeah, I was just worried about the possibility of not having anything that we could do about it.
We can Shade Splitter cave in, and that's actually, like, not bad.
Yeah, because, wait, no, the Shiny Steward will die in the front line, and the Apprentice of Light will still have their damage shield by that point then.
And then we don't...
They go up to the next floor, this comes up to this floor, they die. Okay,
yeah. So we just are able to kill the boss just in time, yeah.
We just cheat them.
Cheat them out of their kill. Oh, and we can maybe even use one of them for an Antumbra Assault next turn too. It's perfect. Nice.
Get him.
We don't talk about this much, but the higher Covenant you get, the more that eking out a few points of life in the first few trials becomes a big deal. Because you only have 40 to start with.
It's effectively buying you the ability to take more dangerous trials in the future, which then just loops back into your economy.
So I think you might be surprised by my pick here.
Is it going to be Prismal Dust?
It is.
Why?
Antumbra Assault is redundant in this deck. Redundancy is not bad. And it wouldn't be horrible to have 3 Antumbra Assaults. That's just more consistent backline killing, at least as long as they've got 3 health or less, or until we start to get magic power upgrades. It's more morsel generation. It's not a bad card. And Mind Collapse maybe is a similarly useful kill card. You can't use it on your own units, but the energy can be nice, and with an upgrade or two, you know, it's pretty flexible. Prismal Dust will probably not be our end game for Seraph the Chaste. But a 3 energy Prismal Dust gives you 3 extra turns of glutton damage for almost every minor and major boss fight in the game other than that. And so this is the kind of card which makes me more confident that our glutton will actually survive and kill the boss while we're getting our deck online. I think 1 Prismal Dust goes a long way towards securing our boss fights for the next 6 rings until we have to deal with Seraph.
Right. Okay, so I think part of what I was missing is I oftentimes end up over-relying on some other method of providing HP to our frontliner, and regen isn't going to work here. Lifesteal is obviously going to be taken away by Seraph the Chase, but also may not necessarily want to put it in the deck in the first place. Although I think we probably would as a one-off.
Some lifesteal, right? I mean, that's a big thing about Seraph the Chase, is that Seraph the Chase says, you can't beat me with massive buffs that you stack up during the flight phase. But you can beat me with buffs, either that you stack up during the relentless climb or at a smaller number, right? And so even Prismal Dust could end up being useful. Like, you can imagine putting permafrost on it and then just using it the turn before.
Definitely could do.
Lifesteal is more likely, in my opinion. If a buff were going to kill Seraph the Chaste, it's more likely to be Lifesteal in this deck. But
yeah, we'll hope for it still.
Ooh, do you like Sharpen? Do you want to sharpen our glutton?
I was going to pitch both of the other 2 before Sharpen. What?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. This is like the maximum segue. I'm so happy with how this is coming together. Also, I feel like I kind of know how to play this game right now, which surprises me because I haven't played any games in a week. Umbra struggles with AoE. Umbra struggles with waves. Umbra is usually pretty good at setting up a boss killing floor, but sometimes is a little slow to come online for the waves, or just doesn't have the right backline reach, or is a little low on damage. Now, Awoken is pretty friggin' good at AoE, and notably, one of these cards is Glimmer, which is a great AoE card, and looks like a pretty good pick, except that it has one major problem, which is that it competes with upgrades that we want to put on our other cards, like Antumbra Assault. Whereas Sharpen does not. You just throw Spikes 4 on our Glutton, or whoever else is taking a front line on the 2nd or 3rd row, and there is part of our guaranteed backline kill for the top floors.
It's also, in the early game, this is going to be omnipresent after the point that we play it, right? It's going to be available at all times, whereas Glimmer is only available, you know, once every cycle of cards.
Right.
Yeah, all right. I seldom take Sharpen, so I'm really happy to actually have an opportunity here to play around with it.
Sick.
We
as usual, I don't want to be. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. Well, do we ever Umber Banner? No, let's Merchant of Magic. We're gonna be fine. I think the cards that we just picked let us do this, actually. I think having the Sharpen and the Prismal makes me much more confident in this play.
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on just spreading out a bunch of buffs across previous ones. In fact, I'm probably even going to reroll and take the Emberstone and plus 10, hopefully.
Do you go Root Seeds first here or Shade Splitter?
Ooh,
or just both.
I went Root Seeds just due to the kind of extra draw factor. Like, it feels like I'm losing out more of the time when I'm not playing them. Also,
Shade Splitter draws cards too, right?
It does. It does. The Penumbra only has 2 spaces for useful morsels, and often that's taken by the Entombros.
Yeah, that's a good point. Without space, I don't really have a strong opinion. Oh man, we do have the cash to hold over. Actually, we could hold over and minus cost here.
We could hold over minus cost literally any card. Entomb Assault could be hold over plus 10. We could hold over minus cost sharpen and just sharpen every turn.
That's not even terrible. The problem with it is this might be where it comes back to, are we sure we want to put such a big upgrade into a card which will struggle against Seraph the Chaste? Right? Like holding over spikes. How many spikes do you need to beat waves for most of the game? Honestly, spikes 4 is already there in most cases, right? You're just trying to reach the back line. So I feel like that might be getting too cheesy. It's great for multi-hitting bosses though. What else would we, holdover Antumbra Assault is kind of tempting. That's pretty good guaranteed morsels.
It's pretty good guaranteed morsels. Also, if we have, I don't know, 2 Antumbra Assaults that happen to be quite heavily upgraded and both of them get duped, or one gets duped rather, we have pseudo AoE and we have enough single target to be able to reasonably affect AoE.
That's true. If you get to play 2 13 damage spells every single turn, yes. There you go. There's your sharpen. Yeah, absolutely true.
Huh. So are we going like an all capacity, all morsel, all glutton support with spells kind of deck?
I wouldn't be upset to do that. You know, we have something else that we can do that's weird.
Ooh,
wait. Okay. Now, I think this is wrong, but hear me out. This is way too cheesy. Is it ever holdover minus cost cave-in and we feed morsels with we don't get pips. We just create 5 morsels in the morsel party floor and then cave them in every turn. Look, it's in the picture even. The animation is morsels.
I love the idea. What is the non-morsel unit that's falling through there actually?
I can't. There's something. There's like a Korok leaf as well. The Legend of Zelda is happening. Something. There's a full Deku convention at the bottom of this cave. We have to presume.
I do love the idea of just loading the gun and firing it every turn, but I worry that we would have to find so much more morsel support for that to be valuable.
No, it's totally ridiculous. Yeah, I like holdover on the gun. That feels very appropriate.
Do we want to plus 10 the other one or just go for another Root Seeds lowered cost?
I'm feeling
or Shade
pretty good about lowering cost on something.
Let's do it on the Shade.
Yeah, because when I'm thinking about this run, like we want to put all of our resources that we can towards making more space.
Yeah, I would really like to find the Crucible connection extension, some such. The one that just is 2 cost, adds a pip to the floor.
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect.
It's hoping we find some of our pseudo AoE tools here. On sharpen. It's fine as long as the collector's on a different floor.
Is almost like sharpen, but if we cave in here, then we get skipped by the next wave.
Yeah.
Do we do it anyway?
Ooh. For, I guess, these losing more of their... I mean, they're going to lose all their rage by the time they get to the top floor regardless, and we're not going to be able to prevent them from doing that. I think we end up taking more damage that way.
The other reason is to get more Antumbra Assaults online. I don't know. Yeah, I was trying to save... Because 15 life is quite a lot. hey, just draw into sharpen. It's really an easy game.
Just draw into sharpen, forehead.
Yeah. Don't think so hard. Hey, is that gonna be the sweet double Antumbra Assault Prismal?
I was just trying to get a lifesteal there online. Let's throw you away on the bottom floor and then Antumbra Assault and then go for the Prismal.
Love it.
Ooh.
Oh, more lifesteal.
Hell.
Mind if I do?
Yes.
We are making some morsels.
It's doing pretty well. Let's get the fossilized jaw and like actually feast even. Especially after the dupe of Antumbra Assault. I think feast could be reasonable.
Then we have infinite pips.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling about this Enhancer of Steel so far?
Honestly, it doesn't really need to be in the deck.
doing something. If we were in the mid row, we could use it to enhance a morsel to kill more backliners. I don't know. That's so goofy.
I think the thing that I really want from Steel Enhancer is if we end up with like a backline unit, we can use it to buff that backline unit consistently to survive things like sweep.
Yeah, that's true. That does open us up. And would we consider Morsel Master right now? I have to imagine that the answer is yes.
Yeah. I think it's going to be difficult to find the pips to use all of them at the moment, but I think we can dedicate effectively the rest of the match to finding that.
That was a very, very strong game. Because of the Sharpen Find, take the Prism. I think Prism is better than Perils here, right?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Well,
is this ever money?
It could be money, right? Because we're, like, part of the utility of adding a Vinegraph to a deck is obviously the ability to reorder your enemy units, but you're not really reordering your enemy units if you kill the backliners consistently with holdover and Timber Assaults. And also, the second part of its utility is killing backliners, which, again...
Thing 3 is reordering your own units, but that is not looking to be as important for us.
Not necessarily something you consistently want to do as this character. Ooh. Well, Crucible Collector becomes really, really hard to take, specifically for the Seraph the Chase, because you lose so much of the lifesteal consistently.
It's true. It won't be stacked as high. It's very true.
Honestly, Alloyed Construct with the 2 Steel Enhancers, with a bunch of Root Seeds, and the fact that we have like an overflow at the moment of morsels, is not looking awful.
It helps us with waves. And that might be exactly what we want a unit that we take right now to do.
Especially because we're not taking another unit in the next area if we do go for the Health End. I like it.
Particularly, I like this unit a lot with Quick. And if we could find that, then it becomes like the most excellent of wave killers.
It's really good that we have the Awoken, therefore, as the second, because we can get the Wildwood Tome and we can give it Quick that way.
What are we duping? Is it Space Prism? Or is it Antumbra? Ooh. Whoa. How strong are we?
Honestly, at the moment, we're pretty strong. We can probably take 2 more floors without any additions to the deck.
Because they buffed the unit side of this event. It used to, in my mind, skew towards the spell side. I found that the spell upgrades were better, and that also it was much easier to allow a spell. But the unit buffs are pretty good now. And if we think we're strong enough, part of me is like, can we put this Alloyed Construct in here and get it back out?
Okay, so it's they offer you after every fight following, but 2 fights, right? So like we get offered the debuffed version here and then like the super buffed version here. So we do miss a Merchant of Steel with it, but that only drives us into a Hersel's Hoard of Forgotten Boons and a Woken Banner. That's not a bad thing to be driven into.
Pretty good, right? I'm wondering if our Holdover and Tumbra Assault is good enough right now to like survive waves, especially we're on 77 health. We took Pyro Remains, you know, we've got the health to leak if we can survive.
I think it is. I think there's also like an additional point in that out of the units, there are 2 of them, if I recall correctly, that specifically want to be in the front line. And it's not like the Alloyed Construct is ever leaving the front line.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of them gives it Quick. One of them or 2 of them make it 0 cost, which is really actually meaningful with the 2 cost unit. So
you want to get spicy?
I like this. Yeah. Let's get spicy.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that card and then instantly give it away.
It's if you love it, you know, let it go.
Exactly. If you love something, let it go. If you don't love it, definitely let it go. Basically, what I'm saying is you drop everything. That's a BJ Novak joke. That's not mine. Just gonna tag that there before I get called out.
I'm glad you tagged it because I wouldn't have known. Oh, novel content.
In the opening hand. All right, it's time to go.
It begins. Well, there are 2 of them now, right?
Yeah, I know, but being able to hold it over every single turn.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
May I please have more pips? Game, thank you.
Could I have some
please,
more pips?
May I have a pip or 2? Spare a pip.
More? You want more?
Just 1 scup of a pip, sir. Please. Oh, found it.
It begins. So I keep having this experience that I don't know if you're like this or if others are like this as well, but I've joined very many Discord servers.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually make it a point to immediately change notification settings.
Yes.
But there's like 3 of them that I've lost in the mix. And so I'll get random pings and I have no idea which folder they're coming from. And it's like, luckily when I'm live streaming, I don't have this experience because OBS like turns off Discord. It's a very nice interaction. But when we do things together every once in a while, I'm getting like spammed in the background. It's stop it. I'm working.
I have that same kind of policy of every single time I'm just setting it down.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't have that many Discord servers. I cull really, really, really often.
Oh yeah? That's a good idea. I should do that. There's so many people who make things that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tend to join other creators' Discords fairly often. I join Discords for games that I play fairly often.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to do that very many times before you're in 50.
Those are exactly the 2 folders that I have. I've got like creators that I work with or enjoy, and then just games that I am currently playing.
Yep, smart. So maybe we leak. And that's not a big deal. Yeah, but this is what we said, right? Like we took Pyre Remains, we took really good trials. We're on 77 life. We're gonna lose 4. Very, very fine.
Yeah. Not really.
Health is a resource in this game. Even at the highest levels, health is a resource in this game.
Exactly. And honestly, spend it early if you can on those trials. Saves you more in the long run. And now the Prismal Dust. Ooh, we can do Prismal Dust next turn.
We'll get back to you. We'll call you later.
I love that Antumbra Assault can be used on your own just to upgrade them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty huge.
Whew. Okay, let's see what we're gonna get for the upgrade. Oh, there it is.
Yo! It's quick. But you see the channel song, right? And you're like, oh, channel strong.
Channel song is channel strong.
We're going to have a wave killing unit that we don't even have back for 3 rings. And then we're going to try to wait to channel song it. Okay. I don't know.
Okay, that's a good point. Oh, hey, do we want it now back?
Oh, man. Double construct. Some people call this unit Kevin, and it's very confusing to me because that's my mascot.
Oh.
And this unit does not look like a flamingo to me.
Not necessarily.
This is... Can it transform into a flamingo?
It's definitely in the middle of some transformation sequence. This is the kind of like Voltron version of whatever this is.
It's gonna become like a Model T Ford, but that has a coal engine, coal-powered cars. You know, usually I would look at this Animus of Will and I'd be kind of stoked, and maybe I still am.
Yeah, with the root seeds and the steel enhancer, like I can definitely see it. It's just the placement of it on the board. But I guess we are about to go pips.
What does it do? What does it do? It takes our root. We play our buffs on it so that it can kill what?
Backliners.
Don't we kill backliners with our 2 holdover Antumbra assaults?
Yeah. It's also fighting for the buffs that the allied construct wants.
Yeah. So I think
it's gold.
I think we skip. Yeah. I think that what we're running into right now is that my playstyle is to take lots of different and frequently redundant utilities. But every once in a while in Monster Train, you have a plan that is just so strong that really the correct thing to do is to just ignore other plans and lean in on the plan, right? But I have trouble dropping into that mode, but we're very distinctly there. We've really covered our bases pretty well.
Teak, I have an idea.
You want to sketches? Do it. These train stewards will grow larger.
That's not my idea, Teak. my idea is cut all the train stewards, and when we get the allied construct back, it just plays itself on turn 1 for free.
All right.
Not necessarily the best.
We took a Sketches of Salvation to summon 1 unit. No, I love it. I love it.
Hey, it saves you 1 space in hand. That's 1 extra draw.
Iron Drop Cage was only cave-in also, so it's not like we had a ton of ascend and descend, you know? No, it's I would take if there were a relic that just said summon a unit on the floor that you want on turn 1, I would probably take that relic.
Oh yeah, consistency 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I'm here sitting behind the glutton 2 for the sake of the scaling. But...
yeah. I'm all in on the full glutton path. I'm just laughing at this. These train stewards are gonna get their time in the sun right here. Then I feel that we're giving them false promises in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, we're not really going to use you.
Yeah.
We're kind of stringing them along a little.
We kind of are.
Anomalous enemy units restore all health when move up. Unfortunately, we do have the Absolvers and the Clipped Guardians, so, like, where do we actually want to set up? Are we just... Oh, no, Untumbra Assault for the Absolver every turn. We're fine.
Yeah, and there aren't any other push-up bros here, only the boss. So I think we're okay.
Aww.
Ooh.
No Untumbra Assault for me this time.
Soon. That just leaves them to be available. Well, maybe we'll draw into it, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Dang.
Maybe next time.
It's okay. We've got a lot of draw for the next turn.
Yeah.
7 total. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Money.
we have to money.
You got money when you can money. I think the rest of this is going to be kind of like autoplay as well.
Yeah. As long as we're maximizing our draws enough to deal with curses and holdover in the beginning, then yeah, we'll be a-okay. Ooh, and we get to quicken our lad too, which might actually... Do we care?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think we just need the stats more than anything else here.
And in fact, it's kind of nice to get hit first so we don't just blow lifesteal.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Prismal Dust is held for the right time as well.
We are very scaling.
Yeah. I'm so glad we made the decision to give away the Alloyed Construct, because at this point, if we had it, I would be like, oh, but we could have.
Yeah. It'll be good for, you know, some of the final rings. I mean, as an example, if we can get quick on it consistently, it's a way to just pull the chase to other rows and spread out the buff clearing, which is good because right now it's looking like our end game is to live by extending our durability by a few turns with lifesteal and or Prismal Dust.
I think that's gonna work, honestly. Like I really don't feel threatened by anything yet.
Not yet. I mean, we can do the math here. If we think we're gonna get into the 300 range, and we've got 150 health, that's 5 turns against the Seraph, so that's 1500 damage. So it's not quite enough yet, but we're only getting stronger.
Exactly. I mean, we have a 3rd level of Glutton to get, if nothing else. I mean, this is 4 extra damage every time we play Sharpen on the Alloyed Construct, which is 8 extra damage for the Alloyed Construct because it's a multi-hitter.
That's true.
It'll lose that in the final fight, but honestly, I think it's kind of fine.
Yeah, this is a weird position, right? Because, well, can we see our rings coming up?
Sure.
Basically, the question is 25 gold worth more than this? And that probably boils down to what kind of purchases we're going to make.
So we weren't offered the Alloyed Construct after the previous one, which means that the first offer happens now, and then the second offer happens after that, which means the Merchant of Steel is almost certainly where we're going to be upgrading that 2 times, which means we're avoiding the first Merchant of Trinkets and going to the second one.
Then we take this, right? Because we don't desperately need as many dollars as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yo.
I like these toys.
I do too. I do too.
The only one I don't want here is Cave In.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Descend All in this case actually becomes a little weird for us.
Ember Cache is not impossible to use. I mean, as long as the Prismal Dust is out before you get into your second cycle, or rather in your hand before you get into your second cycle, which it's guaranteed to be, you can use it effectively just for a pump on the amount of damage shields you get out of it.
That's true. I quite like this Ember Cache. I've been looking at our hands, and there have been many times to where we could use an extra energy or 2 or an extra card or 2. And part of the reason is Root Seeds. Root Seeds means that we just hit this point to where we're pretty quickly functioning as if we have 2 draw gems. if we're actually playing all the root seeds every turn, and we're pretty close to being able to do that. I like this Ember Cache.
One counter,
kind of an intuitive pick.
We just went through a fight and we demonstrated that the Penumbra can take the results of both of the Entombra assaults very, very easily. So if we want to also be scaling another unit with morsels, are we looking at and turning down the best option for getting more morsels to support that second floor?
It's true. It's a bunch of morsels, and it's a bunch of good morsels.
It's also really good survivability. We can put it on any floor for just effectively defend this turn.
I think what I'm hoping when I look at this deck is that we can get to a point to where we're drawing enough cards that, like, if we're landing 2 Entombra assaults every turn, that's already 4 morsels, and then we should also have a Shade Splitter or 2 in our hands. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
How do we afford this? We need to upgrade it, like,
we have
immediately?
to upgrade it, yeah. It's
that's taking away Ember cost minus that we'd be putting on our Root Seeds and Shade Splitter, so that we could play more Root Seeds and Shade Splitters. That kind of feels like a foot gun.
I hate to stammer on the decision for as long as I am right now, but I'm worried that I'm going to get 3 floors away from here and go, damn it, that Gem Trove was right.
You know what? I think, okay, this is why we should take Gem Trove then. Ember Cache is good here. It's like the better than a skip option, right? It's real power, and it actually does some of what Gem Trove does. By drawing more cards, you get more Shade Splitters. You play more Shade Splitters, you get more units. Gem Trove is a dense generator of morsels. We might end up in a position to where we don't need that, and then we will have watered down our deck with 1 card that does something that we're lucky not to need. Or we might need more morsels, and then question mark, hope you find the right relic, right? It's kind of a rare effect to be able to generate that many morsels.
Yeah, the potential of this is a lot higher than potential of Ember Cache right now.
I would agree. I think that's clever.
Ooh, hey, that's a way to play it.
So maybe Pyre Grow. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
As it turns out, it wouldn't have been ring 7 that I was going to regret turning that down. It would have been exactly 5 seconds later.
You know, it's ooh, which one are we getting?
We got the Endless with extra damage, so we do want to leave it here.
Oh, sweet. The damage number goes up to quite a lot. Oh, that's awesome, too. I will not disappoint you, Hellborn.
Please see that you don't, Winged.
Pyre Grow it is.
I mean, I could totally see a reason to try and go over here and then dupe the Space Prism.
Yes. Anything else we would dupe?
Feels like it's overkill to get another Entombra Assault at this point, tying up our whole hand effectively.
I would agree. In fact, do you ever, like, dupe a 0-cost Root Seeds? I feel like this is something that we should make a math model for. What is the right saturation of draw +1 cards to maximize the value? Because there's some magic threshold, right? If you have too many, then your hand is only Root Seeds. You want other cards, and you'll also hit your 10-card limit. But too few, and you might not draw Root Seeds to keep the engine going. It's kind of cutesy. I don't know. I wonder what that would look like.
Yeah, I think that would be easy to analyze through the lens of the Thorn Fruit, because your second cycle never feels too over encumbered with the Thorn Fruit, regardless of 5 or 6 Thorn Fruits, or rather stings, coming into your first cycle of the deck. But then your third cycle almost always feels too much. So it's somewhere between like 5 and 10.
You know, so I'll say this. I think that you could certainly dupe Root Seeds, and it would be better than not duping anything. But is it better than duping something else in the deck? Would you rather have another Pyre Grow? Would you rather have another Space Prism? Would you rather have another, right?
And is it better than just removing the cost of some other ones, as well as like cutting out 2 cards, like 2 trains?
That's true, and we need removals. Yeah, let's go left. I like the left here a lot. I'm with it. I'm with this Merchant of Magic.
Here's my final push for it. Although I know it's not necessarily needed at this point. If we take the double removal on the Train Stewards here and then do it again in the next area where we are going, because the Merchant of Steel is there to upgrade the Alloyed Construct, we then have the Alloyed Construct guaranteed coming out on the mid
lane. Yeah. And out of our hand, which means better draw on turn 1. I'm with it.
I mean, my cup runneth over. I feel like it's Space
true.
Prism, but it could be Wildwood Tome just to get it on both of them.
I like Space Prism. I think we need the construct to be quick because they're fragile.
Mm-hmm.
But especially with the construct in play, that's taking a lot of heat off of our top line. And we should be generating, what we've seen is on average about 1 lifesteal a turn. And so that makes up for getting hit.
Okay, I agree there. I'm also happy to kind of reduce the cost of the Gem Trove.
Yeah, at least the 1, right? Maybe we put the rest into root seeds.
Mm-hmm. Just so that in the first cycle, if I happen to get Pyagro after it, I still have the ability to play it if I want to. Now, this one's a little interesting. I could totally consume out this Antumbra. We've got the other 2 happening consistently.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
I think it's soft removal. I think it looks really good. We've got 2 with holdover, right? That's so much. Our floor will grow larger. It's going to be a good thing that we made more morsel generation. Although we're going to have to take a draw gem, I think.
Yeah,
do this.
Almost certainly. But this is the reason I didn't zero cost this before. Like it's.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
I think it's good. I think it's good.
Just gonna click that button there.
No, I feel good about it.
And then root seeds or shade splitter.
I lean seeds.
Okay. Well, can I propose one reason to lean the other direction?
Sure.
It is so marginal. And it's that Root Seeds draws a card next turn, whereas Shade Splitter, if it's the card that you are playing on the turn, draws it on this turn, so we can play a Gem Trove if we draw it on 3 energy.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's cool. Yeah. This was what I was trying to work out the last time we talked about this, right? And I don't really know what the answer is. But convinced me.
It's got to be on
for
Excavated Ember Cache, Space Prism, or the Packet of Morsels.
Yeah, those are all pretty good, aren't they? Stygian is Crystalline Seeds, which is Frost, or the other one, which is Spell Weakness. Hellhorned is the Rage.
Hellhorn does have the armor plus 25 in this pool.
Oh, yeah, gosh, it's such a good card, too. I like the Umbra, though. Make more morsels. Yeah, that card's great. We have a holdover Space Prism and 2 Gorge units. There's like no limit, right?
Yeah. It's also really good because in the first cycle, before we start hitting the Antumbra Assaults, and also it's worth noting, not every fight is going to be able to get 2 Antumbra Assaults off every turn. This gives us the ability to flood out one of the floors while we're kind of waiting for extra value.
Totally.
Basically, we've got a Glutton that is going to be gluttonous from turn 1. Goodbye, stewards. I'm not sorry.
Farewell.
Yeah, it's not really gonna matter. The Master of Light is gonna be a little bit annoying. So when it comes to the top floor, we are actually no, we have the quick. No, man, we're fine.
Yeah, and we don't have the construct yet.
And get quicked.
Get quicked upon.
Oh, get quicked on turn. Oh, dang.
It's okay. We play Shade Splitter and it'll give us an Antumbra Assault or something, and we'll feel fine about it.
Oh, thanks.
Call your shots, kids.
Oh, from your words to RNGesus' ears. What do we got in this box? It's gonna go for damage for a while. Ooh, damage and divine shields?
Sure.
Don't even bother supporting their health. The big problem is we need these units to die, but also not to give rage. How much damage are you taking here? So plus 27 on you, as well as plus 4 2 times, so plus 16 on top of that is plus... Okay, yeah, the Penumbra is going to be able to kill the Master of Light, so it doesn't even matter if that gets rage.
I mean, we could leave them in the deck, and then that just means when the boss is climbing up, we've got an extra set of morsels in the deck to feed our unit without Antumbra Assault. It's really not.
That's true.
Really not Crisis.
I think I end up in the situation where I kind of ended up in STS as well, where like shuffling a Shiv back in the deck is such a difficult decision to make and such a marginal decision to be able to benefit from that I usually just rely on the kind of the easy version, which is this is almost certainly not correct, and then just not analyzing it.
Yeah, they are rare cases, right? Like I've had Lagavulin fights where you leave the shivs in the shuffle for post wake up or something like this, but yeah, I totally know what you mean.
Just get more cells. Just please feast. I just want feast now. I want to increase the speed of this all.
Is it possible that we can make this lad even larger? We ask.
Because I just don't feel they're large in. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, clip defender.
About that. Are we gonna Prismal dust one of these units?
Oh no! But I haven't.
It's not enough.
It's fine. It's fine. Health is a resource, T. Health is a resource. No.
It sure is. It sure is. Be it observed that health is a resource.
No. What did I do? This is what happens when I stop thinking.
Well, we lived.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. Do you think we have enough space?
I don't know. I think we need a couple
in
more.
theory, open up a hand space, but you know, we don't need to. Oh man, that is awesome.
Oh.
Be it observed. Health.
Oh, like we're never gonna face the stealth boss anymore, but this is 50%
Other
of the
things
time.
get buffs.
The counter.
Yeah,
to
I
it.
know. I know. Yeah, because we just passed it. This was its space.
I mean, we could
Other
legit
things
take
have
money
buff.
here.
Well, what other buffs are we thinking about?
Arcus is
Do other
none.
things have buff? Yeah, because that's not fell, so you don't have to deal with any rage shenanigans.
The 7th floor can have a spikes challenge. But
Okay.
other than that, they don't really come in with buffs.
So yeah, let's take some cash. Sure, I'm down. And then we can try to think about where we wish we had it. Hey, it's feast.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean, we could take the Pyre Shards as just like a quick buff.
Honestly, it's a second sharpen in a 28 card deck, right?
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Not.
Will
half
it save
bad.
us from ourself?
I wonder if anything can.
Doubtful.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, he's going big. He has to be big.
So, oh yeah, because we already had the Quick in the Wildwood Tome. Perfect. Oh my god, he's coming out on turn 1 too.
At that lad.
He's coming out of his cage and he's feeling just fine. He is down. He wants to get it all. Or he wants it all? It's something in that area. I think
Yeah, nobody knows the words from there.
it is so good that we don't have to re-roll for anything here, because now we get to carry 250 into the Merchant of Trinkets
That's a relic.
next area.
There it is.
We may want to start thinking about just buying removals occasionally, because this deck is good. Now we just need to get it consistent.
So the question is, what are we removing from this deck? Because one of the privileges is that our starter cards are both great. Shade Splitters are great, and Root Seeds are great, as long as we can afford them.
Our Steel Enhancer is so slow right now that they get removed.
Right? Their upside is that they're 0 cost in a deck with a lot of draw, which makes them easy to play. Their downside is that they're not the other things.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big downside.
Yeah, no, seriously. It sounded like I was making a joke, but it was real.
No, it was a great one.
Oh.
Actually, I'm going to give you all the health, because I think you might need it. Also, I love this. Yeah, no cost. Screw you, Dark Shard.
That deadweight is becoming very expensive.
We're never going to be able to play this unplayable card team.
We sure are gonna make a strong construct. Is he gonna win?
Yeah.
By himself.
He's totally fine on that floor by himself. I think we're just going to have a very large penumbra at the top floor that is his spectator to these matches.
But that's okay. That's in this series. That's almost a motif. Making a ridiculous unit just to cheerlead. That's certainly
I mean, it is actually exactly what we did as well in our last Penumbra Umbra run, where we got a Shadow Siege that was not part of the plan at all.
That's right.
Until the final.
I totally... Oh, man. And then we went out of our way to make sure that it was allowed to participate. Yes, I recall.
All right, so we're on that same path again.
Amazing. That was kind of cool, using Pyrogrow on a floor that we're using because we have so much pip generation that was better than using it on the incant enemy floor. That was cool.
Huh? But Pyrogrow isn't the limitation.
Oh, you're right. You're right. No, Pyrogrow is -2 card draw. Yeah. What was coolest about that play is that it wasn't even what I thought it was.
I instantly got what you meant as well.
Oh, Omega cool. Yeah, that's funny. Oh man, Penumbra has to fight?
Mm-hmm.
You dare send enemies to me?
No fights for the Penumbra, not allowed.
You will not be fighting. We've changed our mind.
It's gonna refund you for 2 more.
That's the reason why we're not removing any Shade Splitters. It's our guarantee for our Antumbra assaults, yeah.
That is a really good point. I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah, well, like you said, not every rave, not every fight.
Yeah, I don't think we need to manage the middle floor at all right now.
Middle floor seems like it's done, and we just want to scale our Penumbra.
Yeah,
or ignore our Penumbra and win on the middle floor, right? Yeah, where's the point of inflection? Absolutely agree.
I wonder, I wonder where that is. Is it literally just like we get the alloyed construct to the point that it can bop down like a frontliner or 2 frontliners, as the case may end up being, and then all of the rest of the scaling goes into Penumbra because it'll have a better scaling factor when it's Glutton 3?
I think that's right. Like right here, we're looking at our alloyed construct and we're thinking if we can put 16 more points in it, it kills these frontliners, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's magic wave solution sauce. We can Antumbra top line right now, by the way, to kill it before it leaks. Kind of unfortunate, like feels like a waste, but
just a touch.
So we're gonna let Space Prism drop out of the cycle now?
Yeah, I think we have to Gem Trove.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
This is also sweep, so has to be on top.
Good call. Smart. Although we quickie.
Oh, you're right. We are quick. We were gonna have it down. Dang. So anti-smart. What if there's a word for that? Something like that.
Sometimes being smart in this game is about being clever enough to notice the mistake that you've made in your logic. There's just a lot going on. Just a lot going on.
To protect my ego, I will have to agree.
I just finished reading Oathbringer, book 3 of the Stormlight Archives, Brandon Sanderson, and that man is a master of quotable moments. And one of them was, sometimes a hypocrite is just a man in the process of changing. And I was like, oh, that's so good. How do you come up with stuff like that?
I wonder if that's like the kind of, because I've as a kid, I thought about the idea of being an author, right? It's one of those jobs that you know exists.
Yeah. So you have to have it as your thing on the list to think about. That's right.
Exactly.
An astronaut or a writer.
I worked backwards from like, oh, this is a line that I really like. How would I make a story that justifies using this line? And then I hear a line like that and I'm like, I wonder if this is just a thought you had one day and you were like, okay, how do I work it into the story? Because that's gold.
He made a whole universe so that he could write that line down. Yeah. Oh, big cards. Okay.
So
how much energy can we make? Can we surely this Shroud Spike is going to be great.
We can make a lot of energy because in the final ring, because we have no more minions to upgrade, the Merchant of Steel is next to the Unstable and the Forgotten Boons, we just double -1 it.
Even over all of our Root Seeds and Shade Splitters?
Yep. Because it doubles the growth factor, not just from the Eaton effect, or rather, sorry, from the Eaton effect, but also from the Gorge effect. And that matters so much when it's Glutton 3 that is just getting a +20 each time or some such.
Are we about to take energy?
God, we could, couldn't we? I worry that we still do need the draw just because of the 3 holdovers at the moment. But then, like, what? They're all 1 costs? So what? We're funding 1 energy outside of that, so it has to be energy?
If we're not going to put minus energy on more root seeds and shade splitters, we almost have to. We have Fire Grow, which certainly helps once we get to it. 1 card.
I mean, Shroud Spike could just be a bump, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be everything.
I quite like it. I think I'd take it here anyway. It's opened my mind substantially. My mind is feeling very open.
I've got an open mind, and I'm making sure I don't tilt my head in case my brain falls out.
Yeah, that's a concern.
I still feel like it's draw. So do we then revert and actually take the previous option of upgrading the root seeds and such?
Maybe. It's probably going to depend on what we find. What we really need is a way to make a big bump of energy.
Yeah.
Which may have been Ember Cache. So one thing that we have been kind of ignoring is that we don't have to play all 3 of our holdover cards every single turn. There's certainly a point to where we've produced enough pips that we can just never use them. And I think we've passed that point multiple times. It hasn't mattered, but that would be a thing that opens up some draw in the next couple fights.
Oh, definitely. I've autopiloted my way into playing consistently.
Yeah. We're well in the realm of safe autopilot. Absolutely.
I wonder if Feast makes no sense based on the fact that we ended up with that many pips and I auto-picked it.
Nah, I felt good about it too.
So I think that we won't be sad either of these being taken. Are there more relics that generate energy or draw? I think there's more that generate energy.
Sure. That's the reason why. I've said before that you want to be in a position. This is one thing that is a credit to both of us. You want to be in a position where you can take draw. Oh, win energy?
Yep.
Surprised.
Yeah. I feel like part of this is a pushback against my own instinct there. Because I know that I'm going to end up with hands consistently here that I cannot play all of the valuable cards in. Even after the reduction of the costs on 2 root seeds, should we end up committing to that, I feel like a lot of the time we need to generate things and then utilize them afterwards, and I'm just not accounting for the energy that we need.
Cool. Well, this was my proclivity here. But it's hard. I wanted it to be draw because we have triple holdover and a bunch of things we want to get to, right?
Mm-hmm. So Merchant of Magic has a Hellvent next to it. I think I can't justify going Firestone Housing just to go to a Merchant of Steel for 1 upgrade.
No, I very, very strongly agree. Maybe we just bankroll.
Maybe. Right.
Unless we think that we're going to be too slow, and then we take Precious Plating.
I mean, too slow would be Root Split, right?
Would be Root Split.
But at the same rate, I don't think we are going to be that slow.
I think we leave. Do we have removals in the next ring on the west wing?
No, we got Hellvent.
Okay. So do we want to pay for some now?
I mean, we can pay for them there.
This makes up some for not taking draw too, right? Cut. What? Couple seal enhancers. Yeah, you're right. We should just leave. And let's just pay close attention to what parts of the deck feel choppy.
I'm feeling like Tavian's also dead. Because
it may be.
The Alloy Construct is auto-summoned to the middle floor. Penumbra usually has to go top. And then if we disrupt any of that, we disrupt all of our gorging.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a world to where...
we have removals here.
Oh.
Oh.
Nice.
Ooh.
It's actually great.
Definitely useful there.
Okay, so we have 2 removals here. So we're removing Cave-In and a Steel Enhancer. Or the Feast.
It could be Feast. We have so much capacity. Like, Feast is only useful on the first 2 turns, and even then, only if we already have so many of the Antumbra Assaults and such.
Let's cut 1 Steel Enhancer.
Okay.
And then see if we can find a way to use this Feast to make so many morsels.
Mm-hmm.
To make literally 14 morsels.
Yeah, I mean, like, in the world where we ended up with a Morsel Maker offered...
Yeah,
that's
true.
it. Well, not
True.
Morsel Maker, Morsel Master, sorry for the duping.
Yeah. Right. Morsel...
I
call Morsel Maker Morsel Mike, but I don't know what I call Morsel Master. Just Morsel Master.
Is that Morsel Mike like Magic Mike?
Morsel Mac. I suspect... I suspect that it's actually a reference to Froggy Fresh, previously known as Krispy Kreme, which is a fake real rap group. I don't really know what they are.
I'm not even slightly
That's
familiar.
all I've got.
Is this like an element of Americana with which I'm unfamiliar?
No. I don't think it's an element of any Anna. You're probably better off just pretending that it doesn't exist.
Ah, I shouldn't have done that, because now I'm actually 1 fuel down from where I would have been, right? Because it'll exhaust at the end of the turn.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But you know what? We're not going to have any trouble fueling it, so it's okay. Yeah, that could be a position, like, we just fuel it for exactly through the waves.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Ooh, Pyre Grow. Thank you. Okay, so...
Consider my Pyre grown.
Just a little bit more root seeds. So we're looking for the ability to do just 162 times, or... Well, I mean, we can already meet 115.
If we can do the 115 one time, then we've done great, right?
Yeah.
Because we've killed it and hit the back line.
And quicken.
Become faster.
Okay, this Penumbra on the top floor needs all of the scaling from this turn.
Yes, big time. But luckily, it's about to get a ton of scaling. I really think... I think we have to be very careful in the final fight with this construct. Like, we want to put exactly the minimum into it, because we can win with the gluttonous Penumbra. The mid lane is really just an accessory.
Mm-hmm. I think it's no more Space Prism time right now as well.
Okay.
My worry is that as much as I want to put extra damage on the top field for the sake of the Gilded Wing here... What? So it goes up to the top floor and it hits us 2 times is the negative right now? We can throw 1 Entumbra Assault in to make sure it only hits once at least.
It's not bad. What are we off from? Are we already on 40 damage? So it only needs 40. It only needs what? 6. My brain just deep fried. 9? We need 9 more damage. Oh, I was trying to see if Steel Enhancer got us there, but it's not enough.
Yeah, unfortunately not.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good. You know what? We should probably Antumbra Assault the Darkwing on the bottom first and play out the minion, because there's a chance that we may need to Antumbra Assault one of our morsels in order to scale hard enough here. See what the draw draws us. Hopefully more morsels. I think we have some good morsel gen cards yet to come.
So I think for the moment, damage morsels are just going to go on the Alloyed Construct and then everything else on the top.
Okay. Oh. Does Sharpen plus Steel Enhancer give us enough damage against this Gilded Wing to get us there? I think it does.
It does.
4 damage, 4 spikes, 3 Steel Enhancer, and then we don't have to Antumbra Assault them.
It does, but Sharpen on the midline is plus 8 damage, and it gets us closer to being able to kill this Gilded Wing as well, or rather the future ones.
But then loses us 2 morsels?
Yep.
Okay.
I just prefer getting the Alloyed Construct set up a bit better here.
Sure. Yeah, I like that path.
Thankfully, both these Antumbra Assaults can easily take out the Wilt Wings in the front line. I'm gonna Shade Split, pop a Rubble Morsel there, and then kill that.
Smart.
I don't want to lose the damage shield if I can avoid it. And again. And then
I wouldn't worry about the damage shield too much. We're quick. We want our top line to kill the boss, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, we're using... Okay. I mean, if we're using the top line to kill the boss, then we just put a lifesteal down and then give that the Shroud Spike.
That's what I would do. I think that the top line will be... The way that I'm thinking about these units is the Alloyed Construct comes online better at dealing damage immediately than the top line, but within like 8 morsels, it falls behind.
Mm-hmm.
Our top line... What are the stats on Glutton 3? It's like 15-9 or something?
15-6, yeah.
It's ridiculous. You do not have to play very many morsels for that unit to far outscale the midliner. So midliner is like mostly an accessory. We could cut it from the deck, and it might be easier to pilot this deck. With the problem being double frontliners. That's the only reason we can't do it.
Mm.
If we had trample, we wouldn't have to think about this construct at all.
Yeah, exactly. It would be extremely excess to requirement at that point. 19. That doesn't... There, yeah, okay. So I was like, yeah, we're there, right?
Would you die?
Oh, just do us a favor and die already, jeez. All right, yeah, we good.
Got him.
I'm gonna still see if this middle floor can do it.
Can beat this boss.
Just as an exercise, because I'm kind of certain it can.
Yeah, this is a single hitting boss. We strong.
Extremely strong. Hey, oh my god, and it's exact as well. Beautiful.
Wow. That's funny. Nice. GG.
GG. Oh.
I love this dance. I'm really liking this deck. I like these moments. Do you want to Ember Cash?
Yeah, I think we can still use it.
Okay, me too. I like these moments to where we both look at the game and we see these lines that kind of drift around each other, because it indicates that the deck is doing something interesting with some pivot points. And this is definitely one. Like our top line scales just verifiably much faster than our bottom line or our mid line, but the mid line has a role.
Oh, wow.
Right? I mean, we should buy the Mind Jacks.
Yeah. So what? That means we use the Space Prism like 2 times total?
Yeah. That's all it needs to do.
All right. I'm kind of disappointed ultimately by the the artifacts we've gotten this run so far, but it's okay.
I think that that's a sign that the deck is just strong. Like, we're disappointed by the artifacts because we're already doing fairly strong things. Mind Jacks is not usually a disappointing artifact, right? But we have a holdover Space Prism, so we're like making tons of space.
No kidding. I don't really know what we want to give holdover to here, if anything. I was musing the idea of like some sort of feast or gem trove holdover, but I feel like maybe we're already holding over more than enough.
Do you wanna hold over a 0-cost root seeds?
Ooh, that's a solid buff every turn, and all it costs is drawing itself again next turn.
That's right.
I think I'm pretty happy to hard commit to double reducing the cost of a Shroud Spike and then duping it, just so that we have like real high spikes super early on.
The dupe is the reason that I think this is the strongest, especially with the Glutton, triple Glutton Penumbra. I mean, if you can play that on anything close to full energy, we're talking about maybe plus 75 damage in that single play.
Yep. It's going to be
That's
absolutely biblical. And now the removals. Honestly, I could easily remove any of the root seeds that still have a cost associated with them.
Yeah, right?
So how many removals do we get? 5, 75. This one just goes up by 25s, right? So 5, 75, 100, 125 is already 200.
Do you want to permafrost the gem trove?
Ooh. I don't dislike that. In fact, I quite like it.
I think it's better than one lost removal. Remove a root seeds, remove another root seeds, remove a shade splitter, remove a steel enhancer.
Mm-hmm.
This deck looks great.
Wait, I think it's Feast over the Shade the Enhancer at this point still. We saw it was impossible to use in the previous one. We've only got 2 Shroud Spikes already, which we're going to be eating as well.
We really just can't feast. I mean, we can. We can imagine a situation where we can feast. And we have done it once in the past, but it's pretty hard.
I've ended up only 1 run with this ultimate Exodia kind of morsel build, and it was Morsel Miner with Holdover, Feast with Holdover, and Wretch with Holdover. And I was
that's sweet.
Just so many Morsel Miners.
Yeah. It definitely reveals something about Feast, right? Which is that Feast is probably at its strongest when you're using it as pips. But if you already have pips, then you've got to have some pretty absurd generation. If we didn't have a mid lane at all, then this Feast would actually be great. And,
yes. Yeah, definitely.
And maybe we'll end up finding that that's the reason that we have a turn where we wish we had Feast is on turn 5 against Seraph the Chase here. We just want to play 10 morsels on the top row. But yeah.
We'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
Exactly.
At the moment, I feel like it's pretty comfy. So what? We're building to 1... okay, all the enemies are going to attack first, so they're going to die to the thorns, so the harvest is going to trigger 2 times as well, so 160 is the amount we need to be able to do. So we can do 80s on this floor and then grow from there.
We're not gonna quicken the construct. We're gonna quicken the top row.
Oh, are we quickening the top row?
I think we should quicken the construct.
Yeah, no, I'm...
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
Right. Okay, yeah, so they won't be attacking first, so we will have the... So it's only 130 it needs to be able to do. I mean, we can try and scale this to 130.
Oh, but we still ain't Timber assaulting, so no, you're right. We might need the number a little higher than I thought.
Okay.
Here's a question. Do we not just do a massive... Oh, are you on a Morsel Miner Shroud Spike and that gets the construct there? And then the next Shroud Spike is for the top line? Yeah. I kind of love that. Do you want to Antumber Assault once, though?
I mean, I really want another Antumber Assault in the deck.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should kill. I think we should take the 4 energy. It's still 6. I mean, it's massive. Oh, I see. We have 2 Antumber Assaults to play. No, this is fine. Even playing it on 3 energy is still a 5 energy Shroud Spike. That's a massive buff.
Let's only play one of the Antumbers.
Okay.
Just split the middle effectively. And this floor, it doesn't matter because we're going to be attacking anyway, so the lifesteal is going to be lost.
Wait, are we taking out a lone against ourselves that we really don't want to? Why are we doing that? To get 1 more energy and 1 more 5 damage on this unit, and then we have to wait a full cycle to get back to double Antumber Assault?
So... Maybe what I need to do is actually figure out the number that the Morsel Miner is going to reach, because right now I'm figuring the maximum I can put into it is the correct amount. So the Morsel Miner, if it gets eaten with 3 energy remaining on this is 5 energy remaining on this, which means it'll be eaten 10 times. 10 times is plus 50 plus 50.
It's 114.
So we still end up short of being able to kill a 130 in the front line by itself.
We're pretty dang close, and we've Antumber Assaulted a couple times, which means we're making more damage.
Okay.
It's more than enough to kill this line right now. But yeah, I think we should. I think we should double Antumber Assault.
Okay, I'm happy with it. Let's get the excess morsels that aren't really scaling morsels for the moment up there on the top floor. That's also an extra energy for the next turn, which is almost certainly going to have the other Shroud Spike in it.
And then where do we Antumber so that we actually have 2 targets next turn? We really probably want to Antumber mid row.
Yeah, sure. Well, do they not all come in with the double Light Wings?
Oh, you're right. No, do they? I don't know. Seraph the Temperate is the one that has the crazy amount of backliners. I don't know what the next wave looks like in this.
Okay.
Probably. I can't remember. That's a good question.
Morsel Miner with all those chomps, and then...
a big boy.
1 large man. And this is all without fossilized fangs or some such.
True. And he's quick, so he's killing the Emberwing before we have to deal with minus energy. It's awesome.
Hell, yeah.
Yeah.
So we want you to like 160 if possible for the Gilded Wings. I don't think
Honestly,
that's happening.
I don't think it matters either because we just leak one to the top and then we use our energy on this turn to make the world's largest Penumbra. And that's probably just better.
Let's do it. This is also going to be a hell of a lot of lifesteal on the Penumbra.
Yeah.
Ooh, Pyro. Okay. Just sack another unit on the bottom floor, I guess. This floor. Nope, it gets swept. I forgot that we weren't quick yet.
Not quite quick yet. I would be putting like every buff into the top line at this point, I think. I think we're already there with our mid, other than the quick.
Got it. Let's do all of the... No, Ryan, don't.
We can grow stronger.
The face of this has already been simplified, Ryan. Don't recomplicate it for yourself.
No, but it's like you look at the construct and you're like, but this man hits twice.
And
the top row is like, okay, but he hits twice for 3, and I hit once for 15. So.
But twice is more than once.
But 2 bigger than 1, Panummy. Dummy, Panummy.
I feel like in this world, I'm a character played by Patrick Warburton. I'm definitely a Kronk type.
Oh, gosh. It is a monster. He's a monster. Oh, my gosh. He's not even going to need lifesteal. Where we're going, you're not going to need lifesteal.
It's far in excess of our requirements. I kind of just
suddenly
want to
we
throw
need
the giant
feast.
Prismal.
You should.
All right, Seraph.
What's your plan?
Actually did
Seraph,
hop on that floor again. Whoops.
That is too bad. That was all of our lifesteal. Seraph the waste.
It's okay. We're just gonna get even more, and it's not gonna matter.
Let's do continue to grow. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's perfect. The construct is like my fuel.
You go on the bottom floor.
Oh gosh.
That one's not even allowed to be involved.
But my fuel.
We're at the point of power where you get to have personal grudges against cards and it doesn't matter. Alright, Sarah. I failed to cast that card. Whatever.
So remember back, you know, in the ancient history of an hour ago when we were like, which Penumbra is probably strong enough to fight the Seraph? And now it's 6. It only has to hit the Seraph like 4 times. It is just not close.
Okay. Thankfully, it does have enough damage shield to survive. Perfect.
That's one of the biggest raw. I think the biggest raw numbers that I've ever seen was a Wrathful Hornbreaker Prince that ended up with like 1,000 times 5 or something. But this is certainly in my top 5 of single unit damage numbers.
And now we protect it with Yellow Construct. This was the plan the entire time, Teak, and why I kept using the Space Prism up here. Now I hear you say, no it isn't. And to that what the hell is this? These are rare. Like they are rarer than the other ones.
Mind this!
The game needed the Allied Construct to be re-involved.
Wow. Endless. I totally forgot that it was given endless because it was never going to matter. But it did. It did matter. It
Yeah, that
did
was
matter
5
because
stacks of
those
Divine Shield.
enhancements stick around through endless. Oh, man. Oh, we need to fuel this beast. Oh, gosh.
That is so
Friggin' G.
GGT.
I think that's the hardest I've laughed in Monster Train in a while. Man, it's a good game for giggles. I genuinely, you pulled absolute. You did me a bamboozle. I was not prepared for that outcome. I wasn't thinking about that at all. I mean, you know what I was thinking about. I was like, make the top line bigger. And you were like, but wait. But wait.
But this alloyed construct is just a prismal dust. It's a very big prismal dust, Teak.
Oh, so, gosh. GG.
Generate a challenge based on that run.
Shall we?
Teak.
Generate. Can you generate a new challenge for me?
There it is. The OlderDarwinBucks. You can find it at the very top of the link in the description down below. But hey Teak.
Hey Rhapsody.
You said that a couple of days ago, in universe time or at press time, that you were playing some Spelunky. Do you think that's a thing that you're going to be considering to continue for a little bit of time? That is to say, if I said that people could find a link in the description down below to twitch.tv/sneakyteak, are they going to be finding the Spelunky there at the time, or what other options might they encounter?
What do you think a snash is? Twitch.tv snash.
I try and talk over the top of any of my mistakes so people just forget that they ever happened.
Snash.
I think it's the forbidden symbol, right? There's the front slash and there's the backslash, and then there's a slash that goes in a direction that we as humans are not yet capable of perceiving.
That's right.
That's
only
the snash.
The eldest among us can even imagine it, and frankly, most of the senses which would allow us to imagine it have evolved out of us.
Yep. It does creep in the back of all minds. Everyone has a vague awareness of the snash, but to be in full knowledge of it is, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, the ultimate pursuit of human evolution. That's where we are ultimately going. That's right.
The antlered beast of snash recognition, the OlderDarwinBucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
You absolutely gamed me. Well done.
Yes, I probably will play Spelunky. I will also probably play Slay the Spire, Vault of the Void, and Monster Train. I've been trying to limit myself to 4. For a while it was 8, and that's too many games, even for me, a gamer by trade. So that's what I'm gonna do.
I know the feeling. It really feels like, especially with those kinds of games, as you want to dive in deep. It's real hard to juggle so many at the same time.
You just go down every rabbit hole and there's nothing left. Yeah, absolutely.
I just want more slots and more brain space. How can I
get a Prismal? Yeah. I need more pips.
Can I upgrade my brain, please? Just a little bit. Just the ability to have a parallel thought, I'd like.
Yeah. That's right. That's all I need. Parallel universes in my mind.
Just an additional core or two in there. But again, you can find that link in the description down below. For the moment, my name is Rhapsody. His name's sneakyteak. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves. And hopefully you will discover the secret of the snash.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Oh, God.
Happy New Year! Happy New Year, future me. Woo!
Hang on. I may be able to time the release of this such that if this does come out on New Year's, actually, does it come out on New Year's? No, it's 2 days after New Year's, unfortunately. Dang.
Aww.
I was going to try and line it up so that when you said Happy New Year's, if someone started watching at exactly the right time.
Oh, man.
Dang. But Happy New Year. Have a great one. Here's hoping it's a sea change. See you all next year.